Eric, when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I want to preface this by saying it ended at about the age of 10, maybe 11, but I thought the guys collecting the garbage, riding on the back of the I'm dead serious. I was and have you ever seen Royal Tenenbaums, the end of that movie, the ride? I'm
Yes.
like, "See? I'm not the only one." But yeah, I was like, a garbage man be the coolest thing. Now, and my family all made fun of me. They thought that was hilarious. You know how stinky garbage gonna make an Italian heritage thing.
That's a third rail. I'm not
No, but
touching it.
yeah, no, I never really gave it a ton of thought. I think I thought it would be cool to travel around in a helicopter by being rich, but that's it. How about you?
I wanted to be a game show host.
That fits. That's not
Which,
a,
well, there's something about the game shows. They were so comforting when we were kids. Did you watch game shows when we were young?
yeah, I don't think there's anybody alive would say they didn't see game show. The Price is Right, Bob Barker. I'm now that you mention, you asked the question, I'm like, wasn't I homesick? Like,
Yeah.
is that, I don't think they were on
No,
Saturdays.
TV was so different, right? It was soap operas during the
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
and then like late morning would be the game shows.
Okay,
And if
okay.
you were homesick, yeah, you
Yeah,
like settle in and you like sit and watch game shows.
yeah.
And then when they're over, I just remember being like, oh, now the soap opera starts.
Yes, I do remember that feeling, but it was definitely Monday through Friday. It was not Saturday or Sunday.
No, is they were all daytime programming, and it was like late morning, and it kind of like was the bridge into the soap operas. But the stalwart you mentioned, The Price is Right. Like it
Yeah,
was that's almost like background noise in everybody's house, like Bob
yeah.
Barker and The Price is Right.
I don't want to get us off track, but there's as you were like laying out, you're like, well, here's the deal. Like, are you sure you didn't want to be a TV programmer instead of a game show host?
Eric, they're called
You're like,
suits.
we're gonna we're gonna go into the soap operas now.
We're gonna go. No, so let's start with the Price is Right, because I think that in some ways is the granddaddy. And I don't know if they still do this because I think it's Drew Carey now, but it was Bob Barker
Yeah,
for years. And think about how funny it was that the game show centered around being able to like predict the price of a can of corn. Like it was
yeah,
grocery store
yeah,
stuff,
yeah. No, I
like
that's
like
solid.
cremette noodles.
Um, as, as a frugal guy who goes to a grocery store, I'm like, I'd probably be better on the prices right than I would be the Wheel of Fortune.
At that time, I think the programming was like for housewives that were at home, not working. And so,
Sexist.
yeah, I know it's sexist, but the 70s, you could get away with that. But it was like,
But we're now.
we're now. The entire thing was groceries. It would be
Yeah,
like,
no,
until
no.
you got to the showcase.
Yes, and then you get like washers and dryers.
But they
A
didn't,
car.
but I don't think during the episode or the show itself, they'd be like, here's a stereo system. How much
Yeah.
is it? It was usually like, here's, corn. Here's, wheat.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. Now, before I forget, because I'm picturing, come on down.
Yeah.
That was The Price is Right. But wasn't Let's Make a Deal the same thing? Like, come on down, let's make a deal.
No, Let's Make a Deal similar.
Yeah.
Let's Make a Deal was Monty Hall,
Yeah.
created by Monty Hall and hosted by
Oh,
Monty Hall.
okay.
And he went up into the audience and they dressed up in costumes
Oh, yeah.
to try to get his attention.
Oh, they weren't in a
He
panel.
didn't call him down. He would walk up and he would like find somebody in an
Yeah.
outrageous costume. So
Yeah.
that's why like everybody would dress outrageously to try to get picked.
Maybe it's urban lore, but there's somebody I know who's, oh, I was in the audience for Let's Make a Deal. I was dressed up like, Raggedy Ann doll and got on or something. But I was like, oh, cool. But that was a Price is Right. If Price is Right is the benchmark, Let's Make a Deal was a lesser.
There was Jeopardy.
Yeah.
And it's funny, everybody.
I will name that. It's Alex Trebek, right? He was
Right, well,
always.
no, he wasn't.
Oh, he wasn't.
There was another guy before him, and his name escapes me. But if anybody knows it, but there was a guy for a lot of years. It'll come to me.
Okay. Okay.
Who for like 20 years.
Okay.
And then Alex Trebek took over in the 80s.
So stay on track. I'm keeping me on track. Price is Right was CBS.
Oh God, I don't even. Yeah, probably.
And I think Wheel of Fortune was NBC.
That sounds right.
And I'm trying to remember like ABC's stalwart game. It had to be something big.
$10,000 pyramid.
Yeah, and
I think it was.
you're probably right.
$10,000
Wow.
pyramid.
Wow. You're going, that's
You like
solid
cigars
70s.
with 10 grand now, don't you?
Wow. Okay. So the $10,000 pyramid.
I hadn't even thought about the fact that at the time they were network productions. They weren't like these syndicated productions.
Yeah.
They were
Again,
produced by the network themselves. So yeah, I'm pretty sure $10,000 pyramid was ABC.
okay.
And that
I'm Dick Woolery. I can't think of the host. I can't think of the host.
God,
I'm throwing you off.
I can't think of the name. But the game shows that I really hold near and dear are the ones that were amusing, like Match Game with Gene Rayburn.
Well,
do you remember that?
That just brings a smile on my face. He was if that's who you're like, your mentor, you're like, I could be a game show host. Because I remember him being kind of
Little
smart
Annie
ass.
Fanny.
Yeah, kind of funny.
Little Annie Fanny was so wild, she blanked.
Yeah, see.
and then they go through
funny.
And then there was Hollywood Squares.
Wait, before we get away from Gene Rayburn,
Yes.
His trademark microphone. Remember he had
like the tall.
Yeah, and like
chicken or the egg? Bob Barker with that microphone?
I think it was or Gene Rayburn.
Gene Rayburn.
We'll look it up, but have our fact checkers. I think it was him because he used to then like he would use it as a prop. Like he'd point to some of his,
and it brings me back because he was the guy, like they'd all wear those really like 70s suits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They'd come out.
Yeah.
And he was, I don't use the word smarmy lightly.
Yeah.
But he was smart.
Yeah. Was like, I don't know what Bob Barker's background was. Like, what do you suppose Gene Rayburn's, was he like a weatherman and they found him, or was he a comedian?
Funny you say that.
Because it's like comedians now.
If you're at a cocktail party, would you rather tell people you're a weatherman or a game show host? But who I think was the king in a lot of ways was Richard Dawson on Family Feud.
Wow.
Remember the original Family Feud?
Family Feud was an original, like that when it came out, it was Richard Dawson.
Yes.
And okay.
Yeah. And he was like, again, back in those days, there was such a sexual overtone with the game show host. Like
you.
Yeah. I was coming.
You're reading into it. You're like, he's gonna gonna take her home after the show.
I was like older women. So, but Richard Dawson used to like kiss the women and like in front of their husbands, he'd like bring them up and then he'd like make out with them.
Come here, darling.
It was the innuendos. And as a kid, it was funny because they would say things, but now it's so harmless. Like Hollywood Squares. Do you remember who one of the all-time great?
Paul Lynn.
Paul.
I mean, if you said who the host of that is, I don't know, but I remember Paul Lynn being in there. I mean, he was innuendo.
Center Square. Charles Nelson Riley.
Oh, wow. The scar.
But they were kind of like a syndicate. Like some of these, like I have no idea what Charles Nelson Riley's claim to fame was, other than he was a guest on game shows.
Very funny.
They were all B-roll of the 70s. Do you remember the host of Tattletales? No,
but do you? Oh, wait, Bert Conrad.
A dime store Bob Conrad.
That's very funny. What was more important, the show and its format or the host?
It depended on the show for sure. It's like the Gong Show or like Match Game or even Family Feud. Like the host made it.
Yeah.
Because like I think so.
Yeah.
Because then the rest of it, because the shtick was their ability to carry the tongue-in-cheek humor.
Well, that's where you, I think, would excel
probably why I wanted to do it.
and wanted to do it. So we can't just skip over the Gong Show, as far as I'm concerned. Like, so
what was that guy's name?
Chuck Barris.
Chuck Barris,
who was successful with the Newlywed Game, which is famous for.
Chuck Barris was the Newlywed Game?
He created that, and he created the dating game. Those were his two games.
You're kidding me.
No, he was like a prolific Hollywood guy, and they couldn't find a host for as far as I understand, the Gong Show, because they made a movie about this guy, but that CIA stuff was all in the movie. He later came out and said, "Oh, it was all just fabricated."
It was. There was no truth to it.
No, but from my understanding, welcome anybody else who knows otherwise. But they were like, "We're going to do the show, and we want this. We're looking for like an irreverent host." They couldn't find it, and Chuck Spears said, "I could do this. I'm going to do this," and that's where he got in front of the camera. And I mean, that was unbelievable. Gene, the dancing
Oh my
machine,
God.
the unknown comic,
The unknown
guy,
paper bag.
I mean, that show was so bizarre. It was so great.
But going back to the fact that he started or he created
the dating
the
game.
dating game was Bob Eubanks.
Yes, I think, or in the Newlywed Game was Bob
Eubanks.
The dating game was, I don't remember who that guy was, but while we're talking about the dating game, and there was a great movie about some serial killer.
I saw that.
Yeah, that was really creepy. And that, I don't remember who the woman was. Was she well known, or
she might have been?
And
I think she was.
And there have been celebrities like on that show. Yeah, they were on the show before they were famous.
Like Farrah Fawcett was on it.
Yeah.
Like all these icons. But think about it. I think that was that version of reality TV. If you wanted to get into Hollywood, you'd be like, I'm going to get on a game show and get discovered. Like now people go and they try to get on, like reality TV shows to try to start a TV career.
Yeah.
But the Newlywed Game.
Come on.
Making Whoopi.
Yeah.
Last time you made Whoopi.
I mean, and then, the outtakes, right? The one outtake.
The legendary outtake.
Yeah. I mean.
That's the strangest place you ever made Whoopi.
I mean, unbelievable. I mean, so I actually think the Newlywed Game was like, when I was newly married, it'd be fun as hell to go on that show and answer those questions.
It kind of was the original reality TV in some ways, because people would get there and like the husband would answer and then the wife would be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like it was unscripted. Yeah. And they'd be like, how could you think that?
I think outtakes of any game show are really fun. Like, so Wheel of Fortune, right? The guys, he's got General Motors, CO, and the next letter, it's like CO blank Peration. And he goes, I'd like to solve General Motors Cooperation. Like, I mean,
well, and I know there's inflation and everything, but the money they would play for, they would like spin it and it would be like $100, $200. And it's now, I think, now they're playing for like $1 million or something in these, but $10,000 pyramid, like the money wasn't like over the top kind of money.
The Gong Show, just to bring it back, you would win if you won the Gong Show. It was $516 and like 22 cents.
Oh my God,
another Chuck Barris, he did it like, he's like, no, it's part of the joke.
That's
like,
right.
It's $500.
You're right. I forgot about that.
But the purists out there might say the Gong Show is not a game show. It's more like a talent show.
Yeah, good point.
So
good point.
I mean, we're going to lump it in with game shows for today.
For our purposes, we're lumping it in as a game show because it goes back to some Army hosts.
Yeah.
One game show that I think is still popular, and it was popular forever, that I never really liked was Password.
Yeah, the password is
dog.
Yeah, and they would have to give each other clues. Yeah, yes. I'm with you on that. That's just
never held my attention.
I thought the show, quiz show, the movie.
Yeah,
I think Robert Redford directed that. I thought that was a good from the 50s. I mean, based on a true story. And there's some guy getting scammed.
And there's a generation probably as we talk about the 70s and the 80s game shows. They'd be like, no way, the golden era of game shows was the 50s.
Oh, okay.
They would have a different take, I'm sure, because, and maybe it was because that was must see TV when there was nothing else. But you're right. And then there was the corruption.
So now there is a game show network. There's new shows out now, like The Wall. Like these, I guess LeBron James is like producer. These guys win like millions of dollars on this show.
See, none of those hold interest to me because I see now, like, look, it's prime time, programming. And it's like, and I can appreciate it, but a lot of them are just remakes of the old ones too. Like a lot of them are back together.
You're so fun. Well, you're right. I just like that you're like, no.
No, I'm a purist.
That's a fake.
Well, because it was the kitsch of game shows. Like, I think that's why I always wanted to be a game show host, because it was just, they were the ones kind of breaking, what is it, the fourth wall? They'd be like, they would be like winking at the camera. And maybe I had such fond memories of them because it was being home from school and you're sick and you're like, those suckers are in it. They're in English right now.
Well,
I'm watching Card Sharks.
If I watched more Me TV and these shows were on, old game shows, I think we'd probably appreciate how nimble these hosts were.
Oh, yeah.
Because think about, I mean, guy comes spilling up there. He's like, "Hey, Bob, you just didn't make any sense."
Are you
And
drunk?
we're on live TV. So I gotta believe it wasn't expensive to create that set.
Probably not.
And so why not create a game show and say, hey, we'll give some money away, but it'd still be cheaper than creating a soap opera or whatever else
And I
would
think a
take
lot
to
of it
make a
was
show.
like, and a lot of it, like the guests would get parting gifts, and so they were sponsors. Like, and then you'd have sponsors pay
yeah,
for stuff.
yeah,
And so it was the quintessential like low cost TV production. You're
Yeah.
not paying talent because people
Yeah.
are coming out of the,
yeah.
and then they're like, you got sponsors giving away like, that's why I think like The Price is Right. They would do all sorts of groceries. It was like the original product placement.
The updated version of these shows, right? So you got Family Feud is Steve Harvey,
Yeah.
comedian. Is he?
Well, that's another good point. But the comedians now
Yeah.
now they're all comedians.
Drew
Now they're
Carey.
like known entities. They come in, they're
Yeah.
comedians,
Yeah.
and they're hosting it. I guess that's another reason I thought the game show host, because where these guys come from.
Yeah.
But then it became, that was the other thing about the game show. You had the game show host was well known for
Yeah.
being a game show host, and all these contestants were known for just being game show contestants.
Yeah.
Like, like they had no talent.
On this game show network, Elizabeth Banks has a show. Press Your Luck. That's what it's called.
That was an old show.
Yeah, and it's just been reviewed. Jane Lynch, she was hosting someone, and then
That's why I don't really care for them now, because
you're like, Eric, they took my job. I could have been.
yeah,
I could have had.
they got
that
their own job
Yeah.
in TV and movies and comedy. They don't have to scratch and claw their way up into being a game show host. So if we miss any game shows, I'm going to throw it out there.
Oh yeah.
Feel free to comment. Feel free to let us know what game shows we missed. Also, some of the hosts' names that we couldn't remember.
Yeah, we're probably wrong. But if we're wrong, let us know.
Let
Like
us know.
and follow too while you're at it. Okay.